Well, hello everybody, and welcome back yet again to another edition of the Dirty and Driven Podcast. That's right, my name is James DeVinny. I am your host of this fine, beautiful show on this fine, beautiful day. We got a Friday episode for you. For those of you that are new here, Friday episodes is where we bring in a guest. We talk to them, interview them, hear about their story, hear about their lives. We also have Tuesday episodes, which is me and my boy Casey D ripping on some sort of topic of some sort. So those are our two different show types if you're new here. Our mission here is to bring people to the blue-collar world, teach them how to kick ass. We want to gain, train, and retain people in the trades. Why? We're starting to run short on people. I believe that there's plenty of people out there that still want to work, that are still willing to work, still able to work. We just have to bring them in and showcase our industry and make a case for why it's so cool, which is what we do with our guests here. And then we also just need to teach them, hey, here's how you can excel in the industry. There's so many opportunities and so many different ways you can go, and we need to keep them around, keep people happy, and that requires a little bit of a culture shift and just creating an industry that is sustainable and great for many more years to come, generations to come, because without blue-collar people in this world, we're screwed. Okay? Blue-collar people are what make this world run. Today, our guest is Dusty Bailey, also known as Asphalt Space Ranger on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and recommend you give that guy a follow. He's an awesome dude and a great page to follow, especially if you like asphalt, because that is one of my favorite things in the world. I love me some big black asphalt. It is amazing stuff. It is kind of my forte in the world, so it's cool to talk to another asphalt guy. Dusty is a paver operator in Vermont. He has prank wars with his boy Mario on the crew, and he works with his dad is on the same crew as well, which is pretty awesome. And Dusty just has a cool story. He also tells me about these wonderful chicken and waffle sandwiches, which I'm sure that you're not going to want to miss that part of the conversation. I wouldn't have. But yeah, guys, just enjoy the show. If you like it, be sure to rate it 5 stars. And if you want a free sticker mailed to you anywhere in the world, DM us on Instagram at Dirty and Driven or email us dirtyandriven@gmail.com, the word sticker, and I will get you one mailed anywhere in the world. I don't care where. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. I followed you for a long time, and I don't even know how I found your account. I think when I was in like college and I first got in the asphalt game, I just started looking up asphalt on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I think I saw your stuff, and I was like, dang, this guy posts a lot of cool asphalt shit. So it's
thank you.
Kind of cool. Yeah, I followed you. As long as I know, probably as long as I've been on Instagram.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing it?
About 4 years, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. What kind of made you want to get into that whole Instagram thing, posting all your stuff?
Honestly, like I got on Instagram and I saw people like doing it with like their motorcycles, cars, and everything, and then I saw some people doing it with like excavators. I didn't really see any asphalt content, so I wanted to like shine a spotlight on that because it's like we don't get enough credit for what we do. Everybody like complains about the roads not being fixed, and then we get to fixing them, and then we're in their way. So I kind of just show the world like what the asphalt life is like.
Yeah, dude, I love that because I'm the same way, and still yet today, I don't feel like there's a whole lot of asphalt content out there, and it's such a crazy thing because asphalt, of all the things that you see on Instagram and all the construction stuff, it's probably the product that every single person in the world, at least that owns a car, uses every single day.
Right.
And people know nothing about it.
Exactly. Like a lot of people don't even realize that asphalt is one of the most recycled materials in the world.
Yeah, it's the number one recycled material in the world.
Yeah.
You can
Chalk that up. We're now talking about environmental stuff. Look at us go. But yeah, that's cool, man. So, what is your primary role? Are you a paver operator, street operator? What are you mainly doing?
I mostly operate paper. I'll also do like the rake and loot work when there's hand work to do. I can run the skid steer. I can run a roller, but primarily I'm on paper.
Is your mic blocked or anything? You're kind of cutting out. Want to make sure we get recorded good. I don't know if it's bad connection or. Okay.
Might be.
Yeah, just kind of like a. So just want to make sure.
Yeah. I don't got like good service here. I'm running off my Wi-Fi.
Anyways, back to asphalt. How long have you been working in the asphalt industry?
10 years total.
It's a good chunk
Yeah,
of time.
I did it for like 4 years. Took a break, and then I'm back at it for like 6 years.
Nice. What made you want to get into asphalt?
I was 18, going through some shit. My dad has been a paver operator at the company I worked for forever. And he offered me a job there, and that's what started it all.
There you go. Just got job offer. That's kind of you know what I love about asphalt? I accidentally got into the asphalt industry. I thought I was going to work for a concrete company because I didn't really know the difference. And it was kind of just one of those deals of, well, I need a job. Let's go to work. And then at first, like my first day, I was like, oh, I didn't know we did asphalt work. That's not really what I wanted to do. And it turned out being really awesome. I love the industry.
Yeah, I like it. I really like my job.
That's cool, man. Yeah, and I mean, you can attest to this because I see all the shit that you're doing on Instagram. Asphalt crews have more fun than any other crew, in my opinion.
Yeah, you gotta have fun. If you don't, it's just miserable the whole time.
I don't know if it's just the extreme heat that makes you senile or what it is, but asphalt workers are just a different breed of just funny.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta have tough skin to do asphalt. And, if you don't and you just can't take a joke, then you're just not gonna laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've learned. And because those guys are, I mean, they're brutal at times, but I mean, you have to be because it's hard. Of all the work I've done, I mean, especially in the heat of summer, whenever that 300-degree asphalt's on the ground, you're like, oof.
Yeah.
And you've got to fight through it. I mean, imagine sitting in a sauna all day and working. That's kind of what asphalt's like if you've never been around it.
Yeah. On a 90-degree day, and if you're close to the plant, you got asphalt 380. It's intense, but you get used to it.
So do you just do paving operations, or do you work around the plant at all? Or
I'm mostly just on the crew paving it.
Nice. What kind of projects are you usually paving?
Anything from driveways, parking lots, big road jobs. We do it all.
Yeah. Is that a 655 cat that you're running?
555.
555. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice machine. The company I work for, we just got a 655 last year, and
Yep.
they're pretty sweet.
What do you got for a screed on the back of it?
What do you mean? Like just it's just a rear mounted screed. I don't know what the specifics of it are other than that.
The brand, is it like Cat, Carlson?
Oh, it's a cat screed. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a nice machine.
We got a Carlson screed on ours.
So did you start? I assume you just started as a good old asphalt laborer and just kind of worked around until you finally made it to the paving machine.
Yeah, the company that I work for, they actually have a tennis court, and you have to start on that crew. And if you do good, you get to go onto the asphalt crew.
Oh, so is that like paving tennis courts, or is that just painting?
Neither. It's a material called hard true. It's like a sandy material that you lay down, and then when it gets wet, it binds together.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That stuff seems like it would kind of suck to lay, does it?
I hate it. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
Oh man, that doesn't sound fun. So do you guys pave a lot of tennis courts too?
Some. We usually do like 3 or 4 a year.
We did one last year. It was an old asphalt tennis court, and they didn't have the money to really fix it right. So we kind of worked with them, and pretty much what we ended up doing was putting like a 1-inch overlay on it and filling the cracks and stuff. And that job was a thorn in my side for so long.
Yeah, it's tight quarters, especially if you're doing it with a bigger machine.
Yeah. Well, and just getting everything Nat's ass perfect, because on a tennis court, it's got to be pretty much flat so that way nobody hurts themselves while they're playing. There's not really any room for error.
Right.
Makes it tough.
And then they'll be upset if there's any like puddles or anything. So you got to make sure that it is, like you said, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not fun. I don't like tennis courts. I like big highways.
Same. Yeah, we did a running track for high school, and that was a pain.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, had to be to a certain specification because they held tournaments there, and it had to have a 5% pitch all the way across the track.
5% pitch all the way around the track. That sucks.
Specifically, if it wasn't 5%, it was getting ripped up and
Oh man. Yeah, and you probably can't just like, you'd probably have to do that all in one go so there's no joints, right?
yeah, one day.
How thick were you laying?
It was, I want to say 2 inches of base and then one of top compact.
God, that sounds like it'd be a real trick.
Yeah, and we got lucky because we dodged a thunderstorm right as we ended.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have sucked. He blows up right at the end where you can't finish and you got to rip it out and do it again.
Yeah, that was a nightmare. But we got it done.
Man, those are cool projects though, because you get to look back and you're like, yeah, that was hard, but we still did that. And people are going to be using it.
Yeah, and we're actually going back to pave the parking lot at that school. And I'm going to get to look at the track and see how it's holding up.
Yeah? You going to run some laps, test it out?
I don't think so.
Don't want to go do a 400-meter sprint in the middle of your work day?
Yeah, maybe not with work boots. I could do it with like my running shoes. But
Yeah. That's a cool project though. So what are some of the other cool projects you've got to do like that? Or unique, I should say.
We get to pave a lot of really cool places. Got to pave the governor of Vermont's driveway like 3 years ago. That was pretty cool. We get to pave like big breweries. The Cabot Cheese Factory, we actually paved that.
Cheese factory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cabot Cheese is pretty big in Vermont.
So do you stay pretty much in Vermont?
Yeah, we try to like travel out of state for just like vacations, but like I don't ever go out of state for work.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Because you have kids, don't you?
I got 3 of them.
3 of them. Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious because just from following you, you guys obviously are in a different region, different kind of climate than we are here in Oklahoma. So
Yeah.
You don't work in the winter for the most part, right?
Nope. Winter's downtime.
Yeah. Do you get laid off, or are you just sweeping the shop over and over, or what do you do in the winter?
Typically we get laid off. This year, though, I don't know what's going to happen because we just got took over by a new company. And I don't know what their plan is for the winter.
Okay. So what do you usually do in your downtime whenever you're laid off?
I keep the house clean, hang out with the kids. Just
Do you just enjoy that time off?
yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. So
Yeah.
I take it you probably work some hellacious, long, hot hours in the summer, so that way you can afford to do that in the winter and just hang out.
Yep. Yeah, and my wife's got a pretty good job too, so that helps.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't really know anybody who. I mean, around here, I know there are some companies that kind of do that, but I mean, for the most part, because in Oklahoma it's so unpredictable, it might snow one week and then be 100 degrees the next week, and you can work, and you just don't know. So we don't lay people off. We just keep working for the most part when we can, and keep them busy when we can't.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish that I could live in a state where we paved year round.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually, like in January, early February, whenever it gets really cold, and it's probably the last couple of years whenever we've gotten our most snow or ice. It's, a couple weeks downtime, but for the most part, yeah, we just keep rocking if we can.
Yeah, my wife and I have been talking about moving south to West Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's a lot like Vermont as far as landscape goes. It just doesn't snow that often.
I've never been to Vermont, so I really don't know what the climate's like there. So how many months a year does it? I mean, how long is your winter there?
Winters usually last from end of November to halfway through April.
That's a long time to not work.
Yeah, it gets pretty boring.
Oh, I bet. So how old were you whenever you started laying asphalt?
I was almost 19.
Nice. So, and you said your dad got you that job originally. Do you still work with your dad?
Yep, every day.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
What does he do?
Yeah, I like it. Right now he runs Screw on the back end.
He runs what?
Screw.
Oh, he runs crew. Nice. So, your dad is your boss, huh?
Yeah, he's one of the foremen. He runs the back wings. He's always on the paver with me. So.
Cool. Man, that's neat. Does that ever? I'm sure at times that probably gets frustrating, but I'd imagine for the most part that's probably pretty
Not
rewarding.
really. As long as I'm running the paver the way he would, everything's good.
Exactly. That's really neat to me, man. Because you don't see that very often, but I think it's cool whenever a dad brings a son into a business and says, "Hey, I like doing this. You should give it a shot," and then they stick around.
Yeah. My dad taught me a lot, to be honest, and he's just so knowledgeable with paving. It's crazy the things that he thinks of that other people just don't realize.
Really?
Yeah.
How long's he been doing it?
For a long time. I remember my mom bringing me to visit him. I was like 5 years old, and he'd be running the paver.
Dude, the knowledge of those just old school guys, and it's like that in every industry, but man, those old school asphalt guys, they just... Because asphalt's one of those things, at times you think you get it. Like you think, yeah, this is all kind of the same thing, but I don't know. Then you just talk to those guys and you realize how little you actually know.
Yeah. Actually, yesterday I had a situation where my dad had to take over the paver because I'm not able to do what I needed to do. Yeah, we were on a really sharp corner going uphill, and the paver would not turn left. It just kept wanting to go right.
Wow.
And yeah, so he had to hop up there and fix it, and I was like, "How'd you do that?" Just telling me, and it's learning experience.
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. I mean, it's cool whenever you have that, and it's, sometimes it's probably hard working with your family, but also it's rewarding too. But that's cool that your dad was able to hop up there and show you how to do it, and that way you can know for next time.
Yeah, and I made sure to ask him what was I doing wrong. I'm not afraid to admit that I made a mistake.
Yeah, your ego will kill you in that business.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, asphalt's a cool business, and that's really neat that you get to do it with your dad. And I don't know. That's just neat. I've never met a father-son duo like that. I mean, we used to have a whole clan of one family that worked at the company I did. There was like 10 of them that were all in the same family. And that was kind of interesting for a while. There's only one of them left at this point now. The rest of them retired or died, but that's cool that you get to work with him. So tell me about your crew though, because I mean, just, you know, from your posts and stuff, you have a pretty cool looking, unique crew that really seems to get along pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, we're all pretty tight. It's pretty rare that we get pissed off. If it is, it's because of like a hard situation at work or like the truck drivers. But like as far as like the actual paving crew goes, we're pretty good.
Because you got you, and then tell me about your boy Mario.
Mario, he's another one that's been doing it forever. He's been paving as long as my dad has, maybe even longer.
So what is his role?
He's does a little bit of everything. He's got a Class A CDL of all the equipment. He's also roller operator. But he can run like excavator. He does our grading sometimes. He does a little bit of everything.
Seems like you and that guy are always fucking with each other. So.
Oh man, there's so many of them. When I get to work and I see Mario, I just start thinking about ways that I start messing with him. I can't help it. And he's easy to get wound up too, which is easy.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the other day I saw you zip tied his lunchbox to his seatbelt and
Yeah.
Was it you? I saw somebody on Instagram before too. They and we actually did on our crew after I saw it because I thought it was so funny. You took the screed of the paver and kicked it out whenever they were in the porta potty.
Yeah, that was actually when my dad was still running paver. He did that to one of our truck drivers.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Those are the best kinds of pranks.
Yeah, you know, like kind of harmless, but it's like enough to give them a little nudge.
Yeah, I love getting people wound up. People love getting me wound up too. So it's a give and take kind of thing.
Yeah. As much as I mess with Mario, my dad has messed with him like twice as much.
He's got more years of experience, huh?
Yeah. Mario and I are actually on a truce right now.
A truce?
Yeah. He hates snakes, and I hate spiders. And we were going back and forth for a while, and we decided to like call that one a truce.
Oh, jeez, man. That's funny. So what'd you do with the snake that got him?
So I found a dead snake, and I put it on the roller, so when he climbed up onto it, it was like right there.
Oh, fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
That'd be enough for me, man. I'd hate that.
Yeah, but he's put some pretty big spiders on the paver.
I can do spiders because I'm bigger than them. But screw snakes, man. I hate snakes.
Yeah, no, I don't mind snakes. It's spiders for me.
Jeez. That's funny, dude. I love the prank war. Give our listeners some tidbits of some other good pranks that you do, just so they can take them back to their jobs and really utilize them. Leave them with some good real value today.
One is taking the spray paint gun, sneaking up behind somebody and spraying the tip of their boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Beginner level prank right there. Yep.
Yeah. One I'm working on right now is I'm trying to get a zip tie with a big nut on it, and trying to zip tie it around Mario's shoelace. Yeah, I've been crawling under trucks to try to get it. I almost had it the other day, but he saw me and moved. Yeah.
So close. Dude, that's a good one. That's an advanced level prank right there.
Yeah, definitely.
The old, do you guys use pink paint with your paint guns?
Pink, orange.
One time we had this old, I say old, she's not old, but she used to work for us, truck driver, big girl. And you know the joke of whenever you're like marking out your lines, and for the listeners, before you pave, a lot of times you'll go and you'll kind of mark out where you need to, where your center line is or where your edge lines are, just so you can kind of know where you're going, give you a guide to run off of with the paver. Well, if you have a pink paint gun, especially if the wind's blowing, you're walking down the road painting that center line, your boots are probably going to get a little pink.
Yep.
Everybody will always say, "Oh, those are some pretty pink boots you have." And one time, someone said that to this truck driver, and she was like ready for this joke. And like, I mean, we're talking 300, 400-pound girl, and she runs by one of our old dirt foremen. She goes, "Those some nice pink boots you have." And he said, "Yeah, I got some pink underwear to match them." She said, "You mean like these?" And she pulls out a pair of hers that are just huge.
That's funny. Yeah, no, we use orange mostly, and we'll call it our clown shoes.
Yeah, I can see that. We never use orange paint. I don't know why. I guess the pink's what they use.
Pink shows up good in some places.
Yeah, well, there's a few pranks for you guys. That way you can leave with a little bit of value. Paint your coworkers' boots, tip them. They'll appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you can, get a big zip tie their shoelaces to something.
Yeah, move their lunchbox on them.
Yeah, move their lunchbox. That'll get someone going.
Yeah, I actually the other day got a video. My dad started messing with Mario's lunchbox, and Mario could like sense it. He turned around and like started looking, and, like caught my dad. It was funny.
He had that sixth sense. He's like, someone's touching my lunch.
Yeah, he did. He did too. I'll post that video later.
Look forward to it. That's one thing too on an asphalt crew. You see it on other crews, but an asphalt crew especially, dude, that lunchbox is sacred.
Yeah. And it's like you never pack enough either.
No, you never pack enough.
No.
I learned that day one. I think my first day on an asphalt crew, I took this little tiny lunchbox. I think I put like 1 or 2 sandwiches in it and a water bottle and a banana or something like that.
Yeah, and that was all gone by like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I'm still starving because, golly, dude, you burnt some calories out there.
Yeah. Well, when you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, lunchtime's at like 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, you got to always bring more. And then, having a good lunchbox to also have as a stool out there, that's always an important one.
Yeah, I had a nice hard lunchbox until I started running the paver. Now I just got a backpack.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had one of those backpack lunch boxes because I for a while I drove my motorcycle to work whenever I was still on the crew. And it was nice to just throw that in a backpack and then have it.
What do you ride for a motorcycle?
Well, I don't ride anything anymore. I sold it a couple of years ago. It was just a little one. It was like a 200cc little weird Chinese import thing. It was basically a Grom, but it was the Chinese cousin of a Grom. It was a little bit bigger and a little bit slower.
Yeah. You ever want to get another one?
Yeah. A Harley's on my list, but my plan was to have one by now. But then I bought all this podcasting shit, and it cost about the same as a Harley. So,
yeah, well, it looks nice. So,
yeah, it looks nice. It works well. So that's cool. But yeah, it's definitely on the list one of these days to get one. You ride, don't you?
I do.
What do you ride?
I got a Harley FXDF Dyna. Fat Bob.
Dyna. You guys probably, because you guys have mountains and stuff around there, don't you?
We do. A lot of them.
Cool place to ride, I bet.
It is. Right now, the roads need to be paved.
They need to be paved?
Yeah, I hit a bump up there on my bike the other day that almost sent me off the road.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, and they're just so steep that nobody wants to pave them.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, it gets sketchy paving on those steep hills because it's when you start flipping trucks and especially on those switchbacks on those mountains and stuff with those steep turns.
Yeah, I had a little bit of that the other day.
Really?
Yeah, that road we were paving is pretty steep.
Yeah, that's kind of scary, especially because your drivers get to the point they're like, I don't want to raise my bed up on that.
Yeah, there was a couple that were tilted.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, the other thing about paving is just the whole truck driver aspect. I don't know what it is, but paving crews and truck drivers is just it's like Tom and Jerry half the time. Truck drivers love to dump in front of the machines and do all sorts of crazy stuff. Truck drivers are just different breed.
Yeah, lift their bodies up with hands. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, truck drivers crack me up. They complain a lot too.
Yeah.
It's hot out here. Yeah, it's real hot in your AC cab, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Or, you can roll the window down while you're going 50, 60 down the state. Yeah. Some of them aren't bad, though.
No, most of them are really pretty good. I just like to give them shit.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just funny because every operator is always like, the goddamn truck drivers.
Yeah, and the truck drivers are always like, oh, it's never the operator's fault.
That's exactly true too, man. Like now that I'm in like a project management role, I get both ends of it. So I'll hear from the crew, they're like, oh man, this driver or that driver did this today. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? They dumped in front of the machine. They raised their bed up too early and they did this, they did that. And then you'll hear from that truck driver and they're like, oh, I'm just so pissed off. The foreman was being such a dick today and I just couldn't stand him and blah. You hear both ends of it and you're like, this is, you people are a circus.
Yeah, we're breaking in a new truck driver too. Just got his CDL.
Yeah, we get a lot of those. Anymore, that's most of them, it seems like, is ones that are right out of CDL school that come to work for us.
Yeah, but I'm patient with them because, we need those younger guys to come in.
Well, that's exactly it. And I don't know why, but truck driving has really opened, especially I think with the school, it's really opened an avenue for the younger people to come in and be welcomed in. Whereas like somebody young on an asphalt crew, you've got to really pay your dues before you can become forgot how to talk. An operator. You gotta pay your dues for a while as a laborer. A truck driver, you can go and do a 5-week program now and come out with CDL. And most of the time, at least in our area, a lot of those people come work for an asphalt concrete company. Something that because they want to stay home every night, or the over the road guys won't hire them without any experience. So that's kind of where the bulk of the younger generation I'm starting to see is coming from, is from just the truck driving stuff.
Yeah. We've been fortunate to get a couple young guys lately on the crew. We got my buddy Ryan, Brandon. They're both pretty good workers.
That's cool. So are they just laborers right now?
Ryan runs the roller. Brandon runs tack and he dumps trucks for us.
And that's a good. How long have they been doing that?
Ryan's on his 3rd year. Brandon worked for us for a couple years. He left and now he's back again. So I think he's maybe done it 4 years now.
That's cool. And I mean, that's great that you can get them to stay around, because that's the hardest thing that a lot of companies are facing right now is they get these younger guys in the door, but then they don't stick around because they don't love it or they don't like it or they don't really feel treated well there. So, I mean, from a crew aspect, because I can ask business owners all day long, well, what are you doing to keep your people happy? But as the people that are out there on the crew with them on the ground, what are you guys doing to make sure those younger guys stick around? Including yourself, really.
It's what, for me, it's like the joking around. We're all friends. It's like I'm going to work to hang out with my friends. And I know that's why the other guys are sticking around too. Because we're just laughing the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great that you guys have that on your crew to where you can do that.
Yeah.
So you guys probably
That's
aren't
right.
just unloading on people.
Yeah, and that's where it comes in. If you can't take a joke, you're not going to laugh. Because the reason why we've all stuck around is because like we can give it and we can take it.
Well, and it sounds like you guys aren't just ripping each other a new one whenever somebody screws up.
No, you got to really mess up to get a wrath.
Which sometimes an ass chewing is needed, but
Yeah.
I mean, for every little thing, like I worked for an old school asphalt foreman for a while, and I got along with him well because I understood him, but most people didn't understand him and they just thought of it as he's ripping my ass for every little thing in the world. And that wears on people fast.
So here's my thing. I also worked under an old school foreman. His name was Stuart Haskins. I owe that guy a lot of what I know because he was strict. He would call you on shit if you weren't doing what you were supposed to do or if you were messing up. But the way he did it made you really pay attention, and it helped me get to where I am right now.
Yeah, which is exactly what it takes. And I worked for a guy just like that. His name was Richard. And some of the people listening are going to go, yeah, fuck Richard. But yeah, he was pretty hard on everybody, but man, I learned a lot from that guy.
Yeah. And I still talk to Stuart too. He moved out to Michigan. That's why he's not our foreman anymore. But I still got a lot of respect for him, and I'll talk to him every once in a while.
Yeah, and there's something about some of those guys that they're not for everybody, but the people that stick with them respect the hell out of them. It's kind of like a good coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's great. And I think it's great to learn under those people because they'll let you know where you're wrong. And they may never tell you good job, which, you know, is tough at times and wears on you. But man, like at the end of the day, you look at the skills you learn from, especially whenever they're gone, you start to realize you're like, dang, I actually know a lot because of that person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to learn from some really skilled people. Everything about running the paver I owe to my dad. Everything I know about like calculating tonnages and like looking at job sites like in a perspective of like getting everything done instead of just one task. I owe all that to Stuart.
Yeah, that's incredible to have those people.
Yeah.
And I would say most crews have those people too. You know, everyone says, man, I wish I had a mentor or a coach to teach me all this stuff. You probably do. And they may be disguised as an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's like also an issue with a lot of the incoming younger generations is that a lot of them have a hard time with that confrontation. And it makes them just want to split. But if they could just like, you know, keep their mouth closed, listen, they would learn something from that. I've lived it, so I know.
What's the old saying that even a fool looks wise if they stop talking sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a valuable lesson to the younger kids because we had a guy on a couple weeks ago and he goes, man, I don't know what it is with this younger generation. He said, but you know, you'll get an 18, 19-year-old come work for you. And he said, they just talk back. He's like, you try to tell them where they're doing wrong or they could be improving or something or that they did something wrong and they'll just talk back to you like they know. And he's like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that or they'll just like not say anything and they'll leave, never come back.
Yeah, and I see a lot of that too where a guy will seem happy. And I see it with all ages really where, you know, you'll get a guy in there and he'll show up and then he'll clock out, say, yeah, see you tomorrow, and you never see him again. Or I've even seen guys just walk off the job site on day 2 because they don't like it.
Right. Yeah. It's like you got to walk on eggshells now.
Nah, you don't want those people around. It's like you're saying, if you have a good crew like you guys have where you can laugh and you can joke and you can have fun and you guys really have basically a culture built up just in your crew. If you get a guy in there that's not about it, well, you don't change your whole crew and your whole dynamic that you guys have to suit that person. You can't.
No.
And if they don't fit in, then they don't fit in. Oh, I was gonna say a lot of guys, and I'm sure you've seen this too. They'll get in the asphalt business, and everybody talks a big game, of course. But they'll get in there and they'll go. You'll tell them in the interview, "Hey, man, it's hot. It gets humid. It might be 110 degrees outside, and it's 300 degrees on the ground. Like it's a different kind of heat." And oh man, I was a wrestler in high school, or I did this. I can do the heat. The heat doesn't bother me. And then 2 days in, they're like, "This isn't for me. This is hot."
Yeah, actually, one of the new guys that we have, he's the new CDL driver. The other day, he was helping us rake some handwork, and he looks down at the asphalt, and he's like, "It's fucking hot." And I was like, "Yeah, it is." And then he like stops for 2 minutes, and he looks around, and then he looks down at the asphalt again. And he's like, "It's fucking hot." It's like, yeah. He's like, "You guys are a different breed." I was like, "Well, now you're a different breed too."
Yeah, man. Now you are too. Yeah. I love asphalt for that respect because I never really had a problem with the heat. I mean, obviously there were times where the heat gets to you. It does. But I mean, I never once walked out on the asphalt crew and thought, well, this is just too hot. I'm not going to handle this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just love it because, like, I mean, I do a lot of endurance training and stuff. And as an asphalt guy, you get in really good shape on an asphalt crew, even though physically the work, not all the time, but a lot of times an asphalt crew is a lot easier on, say, your body than a concrete crew. Because you don't have 10 guys out there shoveling, raking every last scoop load of concrete. You don't do that with asphalt. You just kind of dump it in the paver and you roll it. And, you know, you have to rake and shovel your headers or your tie-ins, or if you're up against a building or something like that, or other little things. But as far as labor goes, an asphalt crew, if you're a laborer, is a pretty gravy job compared to other jobs. But it's just lasting all day in the heat.
Yeah, we actually do a lot of jobs that are all handwork.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll do some driveways all by hand because our paver's just too big to get in there.
Gotcha. Do you guys just have the one paver?
Yeah. Like we have to do a sidewalk. It's all by hand.
Yeah. How wide is your paver? Is it an 8-footer?
8 minimum, and it goes to like almost 15 feet.
Handwork and asphalt too is just different. That is where it gets harder than, say, concrete, because concrete, you shovel it, you rake it, you get it on grade and all that, and then whenever you finish it, it's all uniform and flush. You don't see the individual rocks. But asphalt, especially if you're doing a driveway or you're doing somebody's house, something that has to look good and presentable, that's kind of where it gets tough. Because if you rake it too much, if you work it by hand too much, it starts to look like shit. Or if you roll it too cold.
Yep. Yeah, there's a very small window for getting those nice fines on top and heavy rocks off the driveways, so it has a nice smooth look.
Yeah, and it's really an art form to handwork asphalt. Like, not everybody can do it. And I learned that pretty quick on the crew whenever I was young and new. I thought, well, yeah, you're just raking it. But, man, it is an art to make it drain and to make it look good. It's tough.
Yeah. Custom swales sometimes. And, like, also just, like, if you're doing a driveway that goes down and, like, splits off, so you have, like, multiple passes at the end, you got to choose which pass is going to be the pull out so it has a smooth flow as you come in.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like, as a paver operator, that's something people don't think about, is planning out how you're going to actually pave, especially like a parking lot or something, because you can get blocked in pretty easily. If you're doing like a parking lot and you do it wrong, then you're going to get to a spot where you're like, oh crap, I'm going to be driving on new pavement it's too hot for me to get on if I do it wrong.
Right. Yeah. You always want to think like, where's your exit point? How are the trucks going to turn out? And that's like always the first piece of information that you go for.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider. I think a lot of people look at like a paver operator, and if you're set up and you're just going down the highway, once you're set up and you're going, it's not too hard. I mean, anybody can kind of run it at that point, but especially those more intricate jobs like you're talking about, driveways, parking lots, where you're backing up and starting, taking off, doing headers a lot. That's a pretty interesting skill because there's a lot going on there and there's a lot of room for error if you do it wrong. Because an error could cost you a truckload of asphalt.
Yeah, and that's not cheap.
Yeah, or more. I mean, you might have to dig it up and rip it out and put it back, or because you didn't do a water hole, or you might have to go back and overlay it again. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a few state regulations in Vermont that are kind of annoying when it comes to paving and ripping up asphalt.
Oh, yeah. Everybody has those.
Yeah, like if you put a mulch down, you have to pave it. But if you pave it in the rain, you have to rip it up. So if there's a rainstorm on the way and you got a big guy saying, put the tack down, you're like, no, because it might rain. You know, it just causes a lot of...
Yeah, and that happens. Yeah, we had one time we had to rip out a pretty good chunk before because we were paving, and it was one of the main roads in our town. It's kind of like there's a road that goes right through the middle, 4-lane. It's part of it connects a highway, 2 U.S. highways. And we were paving on that. Well, this sudden rainstorm blows up out of nowhere. There was nothing in the forecast. And I mean, it dumped on us. And it was hilarious. I mean, I was running a roller. I think I was on the rubber tire. And I pave, I'm rolling as long as I can. Well, the finish roller's still out there. I mean, it's like a flash flood out of nowhere. I mean, there is literally, and we're in a spot that kind of floods if there's a flash flood. So there's water up to the curb, probably 6 inches deep. And we're still on the fresh asphalt. He's still out there rolling the finish roller. And you'd be surprised. We went out the next day. I mean, finally we were like, dude, get off the road. Like, there's absolutely no reason for you to be rolling with 6 inches of water flowing over that pavement. Right. And we had to go out there, and it was a state job, so they made us make it right. And we took our motor grader out there and we popped off what was loose. But man, you'd be surprised how much of that got laid down with that on, because it was several truckloads. Like, it first started raining, and I actually got some pictures on my phone from that job where it was just steaming. I mean, how much steam was coming up as we were paving, but started raining, and it started raining pretty steady. And we were like, man, we've got 4 truckloads left in the silo. They were like, just get them down, get them down, get them down. And then we're paving, we're going along. It's raining harder. You know, at this point I'm soaked on the roller, raining harder. And then it just starts dumping. And it was like right after we got that last load down. But man, I bet we only ripped out like 50, 75 feet. I could not believe how much of that stayed and bonded to the tack and everything. And is still, that job was 3 years ago. And in that section that it started raining right there, I mean, there's not even a crack in it on a 2-inch overlay.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. I was surprised too. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we had another situation that was like that where it was so much steam that you couldn't see. We were paving Groton State Forest Road in Vermont, and we had probably 30 trucks lined up, and we just get dumped on. And we had to put all 30 of those trucks down. Couldn't see 10 feet in front of you because the steam was so thick, and there was like a canopy of trees over us that was like trapping it in.
Jeez.
Yeah. I remember this one lady stopped, and she's like, "Who's your boss? I'm gonna give him shit for making you work in there."
Well, dude, that's what sucks. I mean, you just don't. That's what makes asphalt hard to plant. Because like, if you're on a dirt job and it starts pouring rain, it's okay. Well, turn the machines off. It'll be here tomorrow. Park them. Let's go.
Yeah.
On asphalt, it's, dude, we got a silo full of asphalt that we can't store overnight. We've got trucks on the road. There's already 20 trucks in front of you and 10 more coming. So
Yeah.
fuck it, we ball.
Yeah, we're getting wet.
Because, I mean, if you were to waste those 20 trucks, dude, that's tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, oh yeah. And asphalt just keeps going up right now.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. The price, I mean, in our area, the oil's actually gone down recently, but the rock prices, dude, holy shit, rock's expensive right now.
Yeah. We have one plant that we go through more because they have their own quarry right behind their plant. So they give us a cheaper price, but it's still pretty expensive.
Yeah, that's nice. And that's good that they have a quarry right there. There's some of those in the bigger cities here in Oklahoma that their plants in their quarry, and they can offer pretty good prices. But for us, man, we're 50 miles from the nearest quarry, or we're probably 30 miles from the nearest quarry, and our oil's probably 90 miles away. So we got to truck everything in, man. It's pricey stuff.
You guys have your own plant?
Yeah. Yeah, we have a plant, and then you know, we kind of do it all.
Sweet. Yeah, I kind of feel like the asphalt industry is going in a direction where if you don't have your own plant, you're not going to be as successful.
Yeah, and I mean, I can see that just because, like, working for a company that does own a plant, especially a company that's like, you know, we want to do all the work in our area, big or small. We don't always play nice with others when it comes to selling asphalt.
Yeah, and one of the good things about my Instagram is that I get to talk to a lot of people from all around the world, because they'll message me and be like, "Oh, I see how you do this. Like, this is how we do it." And a lot of the people over in India, Japan, China, they're all amazed that there are companies that pave that don't have their own plant.
Really? So I mean, that's just standard practice over there, that you have your own plant.
Yeah, I guess if you don't have a plant, you're not a paving crew over there.
Wow. Yeah, I bet too, because I haven't been to any of those countries, but like I've been to a lot of like little islands and stuff, and you look at their old asphalt plants. They're like old Barber Green asphalt plants from the 1960s, like a 3-ton drop plant or something that they turned into a continuous mixing plant. And you're like, dude, who'd be stupid enough to open an asphalt plant here? But they don't have any just paving crews. It's 1 or 2 companies, and they have their own plants, and they do all the work.
Right.
Do you guys have your own plant, or are you just a crew?
We are just a crew right now. The company that bought us, though, has their own pit and mine. So it wouldn't surprise me if in the future we had our own plant.
Owning an asphalt plant sucks sometimes, though.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of headaches. There's a few plants that you can almost expect them to break down for at least an hour every. Yeah, we were gonna hit over 1,000 ton on Friday, and we only got to 700 because the plant was down for an hour.
That sucks. Yeah, you just never know, because asphalt plants are so finicky. I mean, of course, when you have that many moving parts and things going on, there's the things that can affect those is insane.
Yep.
But the more toys, the bigger the toys, the more headaches, and the bigger the bills.
Yep, exactly.
Cool, man. Well, what would you say to somebody who's a young guy that's out of high school or just looking for a gig? What would you say to them to encourage them to come into the asphalt world?
Just expect it to be hard, but stick with it, because if you do, it's very rewarding.
What would you say to them? I mean, what's your sales pitch on joining an asphalt crew versus something else? At least trying it.
There's as many hours as you want. That, we get to joke around and do things that other places don't get to do.
The asphalt industry is definitely a work hard, play hard industry. More so than others that I've learned.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, there's room for growth everywhere. Like there's always another step in the asphalt world you think of.
Yeah, there's room for growth. And like you said, you joke around a lot. There's a lot of joking, a lot of having fun. Asphalt crews work longer hours than a lot of crews. Just kind of, that's the way of the industry. And that can be hard, but you have to, especially like whenever you're saying your region, to keep up. If you only have so many months to pave, let's say 8 months out of 12 months a year to pave, then yeah, you're working long hours, hard weeks, but then you get a nice break in the winter to where you can play and hang out with your kids and do fun stuff like that.
Yeah. I've thought about getting a plow truck and just opening a plow business for winter. That way I can have like a side gig.
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with side gigs, man.
Yeah. Always got to chase that paper.
Yeah. Well, and it's like we talked about on our last Tuesday episode is, side hustle. Almost every blue collar guy's got a side hustle of some sort. And what's nice about it is whenever you're slow, I mean, if you don't feel like plowing snow, then don't fucking do it. But if you do feel like it that day and want to make some more money, then do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I said I just got a new zero turn, so I thought about offering to mow some lawns too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Whew, that'd be tough, man. I tried to mow lawns whenever I was still on the asphalt crew in the summer, but it's like, especially on some weeks, you work 60, 70 hours, and then you go, the last thing I want to do is go mow this lady's lawn.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But, I mean, hey, if I had a zero turn, my tune might have been a little different.
Yeah.
That was with the old push mower. How do you balance that financially whenever you're kind of planning for because that's just a different world for me. I don't know a lot about guys that get laid off yearly and work the more annual jobs. How do you balance that in the summer to winter to where you're saving up in the summer, you're not being an idiot to where you can take off in the winter? I mean, you said your wife has a job, but I mean, also you can't just be full throttle doing dumb shit all the time in the summer whenever you are bringing in income.
Right. So the biggest factors are making sure the fuel tank for the house is full before winter hits. Making sure like the winter tires are on the vehicles. And then after that, save a lot of money travel. So a lot of my gas prices are cut down. And I mean, you do get unemployment for the winter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little bit of income. So that plus reduced travel and everything. And my wife's income, we turn out right.
Cool. Yeah. So you just plan it out and kind of know what you need and try to get the big bills out of the way early.
Yep. Just plan ahead.
Plan ahead. I heard an old guy say before, one guy was complaining about hours. He's like, man, we've been working so many hours. But another guy said, man, he goes, you got to get the hay in the barn when the getting's good. That way, whenever winter comes around, he goes, and you're only getting those smaller paychecks, don't be complaining about money if you don't want to work the hours right now.
Right.
Not saying everyone doesn't need a little time off here and there, but yeah, it's definitely a seasonal industry like that. You gotta plan ahead, and you gotta stockpile some money in the summer months, and then even if you don't get laid off or anything like that, you're still getting less hours, and you don't want to go and get yourself a bunch of payments and stuff that you say, oh man, I can make these payments easily, and then winter comes around, you're like, oh shit, I can't make these payments anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, the area where I live, we have smaller population, and so like there's also not a lot of stuff to do in the winter. So you're not spending money like going out and doing things like you would in the summer.
So do you have what kind of kids do you have? Do you have daughters, sons?
I have one son and two daughters.
Any of them going to become asphalt monkeys?
My son says that he wants to, but he also is really liking doing like wood carving, woodwork now. So
Mm,
he might end up like designing furniture and stuff like that.
that's cool, man. Skilled woodworkers are not easy to find.
Yeah, his birthday's actually coming up at the end of the month, and he asked for a shed so he can store all of his like woodworking materials.
What a birthday gift. Can I get a shed, please?
Yeah, yeah.
How old is he?
He's gonna be 13.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Is he pretty good?
He's getting there. He brought home like a wood carving that he did the other day from wood shop, and it was an eagle, and it was pretty good.
Wow. That's awesome. Do you woodwork?
I don't.
Where do you learn it from?
School, and he's been watching YouTube videos and reading.
Good for him, man.
Yeah, yeah,
What does he have a shop class or
yeah. In school, he did a couple shop classes.
that's one of my biggest arguments right now is schools need to bring back shop classes because most schools don't have them anymore. And like you're saying, dude, your 13-year-old's already like, yeah, I want a shed to store my woodworking. I mean, he could go off in a few years, man. A carpenter is going to make more than a doctor because carpenters are so few and far between. And even if he doesn't become a carpenter, just any sort of woodworking is going to be in high demand soon.
Yeah, yeah. One of the good things about our area is the school that he goes to. When you get into the high school, there's a part of it called it's like a tech center, um, and they offer a carpentry class. And I think he's looking into doing that once he gets into high school.
Dude, that's so cool that they have a carpentry class.
Yeah, like a automotive, like a carpentry. They have like a nursing health one. I went to that school for blueprinting and designing.
Wow. Yeah, I wish more schools offered that. And I hope they start doing it more. I think they're starting to realize the need for it again, but golly, dude, it's one of the biggest things that I think that's hurt the blue collar industry and caused kind of a, labor gap is that these kids just haven't gotten exposed to it. Like if that school didn't have that, you don't woodwork, so your son probably never would have gotten exposed to it, and he probably never would have learned how to do it.
Yeah, and a lot of parents have been like, you should become a doctor or a lawyer, or, this job is undesirable. It doesn't pay as much. But that's one of the leading things that's taking people away from the blue collar world.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I love that he's learning that skill and that he's like into it. Like he's watching YouTube videos. He's working on it himself. Like good for him.
Yeah, he's asked for some wood carving tools too from other people for his birthday. So if all goes right, should have a nice setup.
Good for him, dude. Yeah, because that stuff's expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Good for him, man. Good for him. So how I guess that's the other thing that everybody always wants to hear about is work-life balance and stuff like that. Do you have much of that balance in your seasonal months? I mean, with your kids and everything?
I see them less than I'd like to in the summer, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that is nice that in the winter you get to spend all your time with them.
Yeah, yeah, and we've been hit with a lot of rain right now, so there's like Saturdays and longer hours are up in the air, with less time home. So it can weigh on you sometimes.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've learned the shitty thing about, especially the asphalt industry. I mean, like we said earlier, it's sometimes out of your control that you have to work until 7, 8, 9 p.m. and because there was a screw up at the plant and you can't just waste all that material. And sometimes or your paver broke down, you already had trucks on the road and you get it running. I mean, that stuff happens, and that's the reality of the industry too. I mean, I don't want to just paint everything as sunshine and rainbows. That stuff happens. And like you hear guys that are saying, like, I got home at 9:30 p.m. last night and My kids stayed up just so I could tell them good night, and then they went to bed, and that was all I saw of them. Or they were already in bed whenever I got home, and then you're up 6 a.m. the next morning to go to work and get there at 6:30, 7, and go do it again. And hopefully you don't stay there that late, but it definitely happens sometimes.
Yep, I've experienced that a few times. There's one night that we were waiting for an excavating crew to repair a water line in a town, and then we were going to pave over it when they were done. They broke the water line, and it was spewing everywhere. And they didn't have it patched up till like 7 o'clock at night. And then we had to put the asphalt down. So, and then I lived like an hour away from the shop, so I wasn't home till like 10 o'clock.
Wow, dude. Yeah, that sucks when that happens. I've been out there a few times when a breakdown happens, and you're just like, oh, or you need like one more load, and
yeah, could have sent that last truck back to the plant and wait for an hour for like 3 tons.
Oh, gosh dang it. Yeah, man. Cool. But yeah, that's the, we don't always want to paint just the good side of things, but you know what? To kind of sum up the asphalt talk, it's an amazing and rewarding industry. I mean, I talk about it a lot. I love paving. It's not for everybody. But it's cool, and it's big machines. If you want to be an operator, but you don't want to just operate, because like one thing that I love about an asphalt crew is there's nobody out there who's just an operator. At least in the crews I've been on. Right. Everybody shovels, everybody rakes, everybody flags every now and then. Nobody is just like, this is my machine only, and I'm not getting out of this machine. You do it all.
Yeah, everybody on the crew can pretty much like run most of the stuff. Me and my dad and Mario are the only run the paper.
Yeah. So everybody does it all, and that's what's cool is it's a very versatile group of guys, and it's a cool balance between you may get to run this machine today, you may be on that machine tomorrow, and then you may be shoveling and raking, and but if you want a rewarding, cool job in the trades, there's nothing wrong with laying asphalt, man, because everybody uses it. Everybody in America uses it every single day. Everybody probably in the world, unless they live in some remote rural village with no paving, uses asphalt every day, or at least most days.
Yeah.
It's big machines, a lot of trucks. You got your trucks, they back into the paver takes off, or a transfer machine if you're on a highway job. Then those 2 big machines take off that cost $600,000 each, and then you got 3 rollers behind them or more sometimes less, and it's just a lot going on, and it's cool. Yeah,
definitely. There's a lot to it. And another side of it is like figuring out how much asphalt you're going to need. So like figuring out your area and doing math to like calculate it. I think that's pretty fun too.
Yeah, you got to plan it out, and you never want to be the operator or foreman who turns out they don't know how to calculate how much asphalt they need.
Right. Yeah. That's what results in that 3 tons.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. You sure you got enough on this last load? Yeah, I stepped it off, or I eyeballed it. Dude, please measure it.
Yeah. Double check.
Well, cool, man. You got any other awesome, cool, funny stories that you wanna be sure and tell?
Oh man, I could go on all day. Every day is like a new adventure.
It is.
Yeah, but it's not one that I can think of like right now.
What's the dirtiest job you've ever had to do?
When I ran the tack truck. Yeah.
Just in general, just every day?
Yeah. Before I ran paver, I was doing the tack. Yeah, and you couldn't even come 10 foot away from that truck without without getting covered in tack.
Wow. What kind of tack do you guys use?
Just it's like I don't know.
Is it like and I'm sure that none of the listeners are going to relate to this question at all. Do you use like and I'm sure you guys have different product names for different things up there, but is it like an E-tack, like a trackless?
Yeah, it's just like we spray it out the nozzle.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you probably just use a different one. Okay, cool. Sorry, that was for my own nerdy self, but
yeah, no worries. I like how people do it differently in different areas too.
Well, we have to use trackless tack, which is kind of interesting, to where a car won't drive on it and then cause big old black marks and stuff like that everywhere.
Yeah.
We've used several different products since I've been here, but currently we use the company called Blackledge, and it's pretty cool because you'll spray it down and then you'll walk, like after it breaks out, you'll walk on it and it won't stick to your boots at all. I mean, it looks like a seal coat, and then once the asphalt gets on it, it bonds to it. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Wish we had that.
Well, the old stuff we used was supposed to be trackless, but dude, you'd walk on that, and I mean, it was like you couldn't walk through it. It was just sticky glue, terrible stuff.
Yeah, that's what we use now. You step on it, and then you step on the asphalt, and you're suddenly like 4 inches taller.
Yeah, you have a road on your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for people that don't know what tack is, that's the layer it's basically a glue that you use to spray between 2 layers of asphalt. If you're not familiar with the industry, you'll see guys, you either mill the road or you're overlaying and you spray this stuff between layers so that way it all bonds together. Doesn't slide or slip or anything. Funny story about the tack truck for me. First day I was on the crew, I was just asking how asphalt works. I was like, so what? Because I didn't know anything. So I'm asking questions. I'm like, so how do we do this? What do we do? Well, we go and we dump the stuff into the paver and they roll over it. And then we go back through and we spray paint it all black. And I was like, dude, I was like, shut the fuck up. You don't paint the road. And then I see the tack truck go by and it's spray painting that black liquid on the ground. I was like, what the fuck, dude? They actually spray paint it. I didn't know it was tack.
Yeah. I got a funny tack truck. I was going to disconnect my tack trailer. Forgot to block my tires. I was on a hill. Tack wagon just rolls off down the hill over the bank on me. Flipped upside down. That was a fun day.
Oh no! Did it spill?
Luckily, no. The cap actually flipped over inside and wedged itself, so nothing could come out. Yeah, I called my foreman up and I was like, "I fucked up. You're gonna have to fire me."
You're gonna have to fire me. Do you have just a pull behind tack trailer, or do you just use a hand sprayer, or do you have a tack truck?
It's a pull behind trailer and it has a spray wand on it that we can take off and hand spray it if we need to.
Okay, yeah. We got one of those too, and then we have 2 big tack trucks.
Yeah. Ours is just a 500-gallon Lee Boy.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Dude, tack trucking's it's a dirty job, especially the ones you're talking about. You ever guys ever just sprayed you?
Sprayed me.
Yeah, you ever just been sprayed point blank by tack?
No, luckily. I'd probably get pissed off if that happened to me.
You ever done it to someone else?
No, I've been tempted to, but there was one guy that was really ticking me off at work one day, and I wanted to just drive by with the wings of the sprayers folded up and just turn it on while I drove by his car. No.
We had a guy. Actually, this just happened a few weeks ago. It was our asphalt foreman. He got hit. Well, the tack truck driver was going down the road and he accidentally hit the wrong button and one of the wings was folded up. and then the right wing was down because they'd already paved one lane and they were getting ready to pave this other lane. Well, they had the middle bar spraying, and then the right wing was down and the left wing was up. Well, he accidentally hit the wrong button and he started spraying, and he turned them all on. Oh, dude, he hit our foreman just point blank, covered in tack. Just because he walked in the office, I was like, dude, you actually look like you worked today. And he goes, yeah, I got sprayed by the tack truck.
Yeah. I watched one of our truck drivers get taken out. The tack driver had the wings down, drove too close to him, and it swept him under his feet. Knocked him right over. Yeah, took his shoe right off of his foot.
Yeah, those tack truck wings, they can be lethal.
Yeah.
We had a guy, he was basically, he was fog sealing the shoulders of a road, which is, again, for the listeners, fog sealing is just like a seal coat or something. You know, painting it, that's just painting it black. They'd paved the road, and then they didn't want to pay to pave the shoulders, so it was just seal coat it, or fog seal it. So they're going down the road, and he wasn't really a tack truck driver, but he was like a truck driver that knew kind of how to run it, and it was like, yeah, just get it set up and take off down the road. So that's what he did until he clipped a guardrail, and he went over the guardrail.
You just never know what's going to happen today when you work in the asphalt industry.
It's, you get numb to the dangers of it, but there's definitely serious dangers involved in the asphalt industry. I mean, because you have live traffic running next to you all day long.
Yeah.
And sometimes the only thing between you and a car going 65 miles an hour, ignoring your roadwork signs, is a cone.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a paver operator, like, you have to look and know where everybody is at all times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and if like a dump truck's empty and they're cleaning out in front of the paver, like, you got to watch the front of the paver to make sure that anybody walking through there doesn't have like the truck roll back on.
Yeah.
Just always being attentive.
Yeah. It gets, it can get hairy, man. I mean, without even realizing it. And it doesn't take much. And I've seen it happen time and again where, because you have no visibility on those big machines, and it doesn't take much for a laborer who's not paying attention to get hit by one.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, a serious injury or anything, but just to even get bumped by one of those things is not fun.
Yeah, I had to spin a paver the other day, and there was somebody standing behind it, and I almost clipped them with the back of the screed. I saw them just in time and stopped, but they walked at me in my blind spot, so I didn't realize they were there.
Yeah. Yeah, you always got to be paying attention. So any of you young bucks looking to join the industry, just know, keep your head on a swivel when you're out there on a road crew. And I mean, that goes for any job site with big, heavy equipment on it. I mean, always be paying attention and don't get close to the machines unless the operator knows you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. I always like to make sure that I make eye contact with the operator before I walk around them. That way I know they acknowledge that I'm there.
Yeah, 100%. You have to. So, your dirtiest job being a tack truck driver. I don't ask everybody this question anymore because it usually gets pretty boring, but I know that on an asphalt crew, you are fine dining in all of the gas stations. So,
oh yeah,
tell me what your go-to is inside those things.
One of my favorite places to go, it's called Crossroads. It's a gas station. They offer all kinds of different hot foods because they got a deli in there. They make excellent burgers. They make chilies, mac and cheese. They got some of the best breakfast sandwiches you can get in the morning. That's my go-to place. Lunchtime, I like to typically grab a burger.
Yeah, you bring a burger for lunch?
No, I get one at the gas stations. Yeah.
All right. I wish my go-to gas station thing was a juicy burger.
Yeah, and in the mornings, if I can find a chicken and waffle sandwich, I'd like to grab those.
Say that again.
Chicken and waffle sandwiches in the morning.
Chicken and waffle sandwiches? Dude, where are you getting that at a gas station?
There's a gas station in my area that actually makes them. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, the chicken is like glazed in maple with like crusted sugar maple on it, and then they put like cheddar cheese and a little bit of sriracha between two waffles.
Fuck, dude. All right, well, guys, I'm booking a flight to Vermont right now. Dude, I've never heard of a chicken and waffle sandwich.
Dude, so the first day I got one, like my whole life I've heard chicken and waffles, and I was like, that just doesn't sound good to me.
Yeah, I've had chicken and waffle. Hell, I got a chicken and waffles tank top that I wear sometimes. I mean, I'm a big chicken and waffles guy over here.
Yeah. So I found that sandwich. I tried it, and I was 31 when I tried it, and I was like, I've wasted 31 years of my life not eating chicken and waffles.
I mean, I love chicken and waffles, and whenever you start talking about maple glazed, sugar crusted, I mean, will I spend all day in the porta potty if I eat that? Yeah, but is it worth it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Especially if you get some of that Vermont maple syrup on it.
Dude, that sounds incredible.
Yeah, that's what we're known for. Vermont maple syrup.
I knew that asking an Asphalt guy what his go-to gas station food would bring me up some real value in my life, and I think it just did, so. Chicken and waffle sandwich. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I think we've got us a podcast here.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man. You got any final thoughts for the people?
Just work your ass off. Have fun in your free time. And live life to your fullest.
Work hard, play hard, baby.
Yeah.
One last question for you. Do you love it?
Oh, I love it every day.
Cool, man. Where can people follow you?
Instagram, Asphalt Space Ranger.
Asphalt Space Ranger. Give him a follow. Seriously, guys. It's an awesome page. Whether you're in the asphalt biz or not, Dusty's out there doing cool stuff, man. A lot of great content on that page. So give him a follow. Give us a follow at Dirty and Driven. And if you have any questions about wanting to join the trades in general, but if you want to join the asphalt industry, if you have just questions about being a laborer, operator, anything, hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. I'm sure Dusty would be happy to talk to you about it too. So,
Yeah, definitely.
and just remember, asphalt smells like cash, rides like glass.
Paint it black, don't look back.
Yeah, buddy. Black side up. All right.
Yeah.
Also, to all you concrete guys out there, asphalt roads are smoother. Good night, everybody. Stop.